So, hello and welcome. My name's Steve Nobel, and today I'm speaking with Catherine Jameson on light language for the shift. And Catherine is a multidimensional energy healer, light language and sound therapist and teacher. She's the founder of Vibro Sound Healing, Australia's first vibrosound sound therapy company, and encoded frequencies, which is a space to spark awakenings into galactic multidimensional consciousness through energetic activations, one-to-one sessions. Her website is encodedfrequencies.au, and there'll be a number of links going out with this podcast. So, hi, Katie.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Well, we've known each other for a while because you've supplied music for some of my meditations. I think, I remember the Merlin one, and there's others that you've been supplying.
Yeah, I love the melon one. Yeah, I found your YouTube and then I thought, whoa, I think this frequencies that I bring through would be really interesting in combination with the journeys that you take people on.
Oh, it's been fabulous. And can you say
Synergistic.
something about that side of you? Because you've got that side of you, and you've got the kind of sound composer side. How
Yeah.
what's happening there?
So I guess I always grew up I had a very normal first part of my 20 years on earth. So I was just pretty much all I did at school was music. I did music extension, played clarinet, piano, theory, French horn. Like my whole life was just engrossed in music. And then I studied, I went to school to do composition. And then it kind of quickly took a turn, I guess because of my health journey as well. I was like super sick growing up and I had endometriosis and chronic fatigue and like chronic pain and things like this. So the sound part of me and the composer part of me pivoted quite quickly into the energetic realm and combining the two worlds for sound as a healing mechanism. And then the composing, instead of me thinking that I was composing the music, now recognizing that I am channeling different energies through the music. Because some of the music, some of the tracks, I re-listen to on my computer and I find them ages later, and I don't even remember making that track. I don't even remember, like, it's just gone. So I know that I'm in some type of channeled state when the music just comes out, and it seems to be something that other people resonate and find can shift their energy. So
Yeah. And so when did the shift happen into light language, or was it always been bubbling all the time there?
no, I don't think I was like, I guess the path was like doing some Reiki, doing some energy, then opening up to like, oh, multidimensional consciousness. And then I started having pretty intense experiences galactically. Like I would wake up on ship and um, doing a lot of hypnosis and kind of meeting the Arcturians and meeting the Syrian consciousness and having very like expanded states of awareness into, I think it's like bilocating or remote viewing different galactic technology in my healing sessions that I would give for people. And then I think I had a light language clearing for myself, and they took something out of my throat from a pain in Lemuria or something that had happened to me where something had been stripped. And then like a week later, I was deep in meditation and I connected to the blue avian consciousness. And for some reason, you know, when your spirit kind of travels up and up and you're like, whoa, I'm going to a place that I don't really usually go. And then I remember where I was in my room and I was laying on my massage table with my sound lounge on, listening to my frequencies. And then all of a sudden, this little being popped into my awareness, this like little blue bird dude. And then I just started communicating. And then once it started, I was like, it like went so fast. And then I just started crying as if like I had remembered an old friend. Like it was such a very emotional and profound experience to feel that a part of my soul had kind of come back. And then I didn't stop. It like for the whole day, I think I was just like a kid with a new toy being like, oh my goodness. And then I really refined being able to interpret what was being said, because I don't like to not know. I kind of, yeah, I made a pact. I was like, I'll channel the light language, but I need to be able to see or feel what's coming through. Otherwise, it feels weird, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So
Yeah,
not everyone knows what's coming through. They kind of just they have a feeling, but
let it.
you do know what's coming through.
Oh, like a small percentage. I'm not going to claim that I'm like, this is a direct transcript, but because I work so clairvoyantly, I know who I'm communicating with. I know what I'm channeling, who I'm kind of relaying the messages of, and then I interpret the energy that they show me as a feeling or as a sound or as a color or as a pattern or as a movie, and then I like to relay that to the client because I feel like it gives a way more tangible experience, and people can connect with it deeper when they kind of know what's kind of happening.
Yeah. Who are you mainly connecting to at the moment?
I really, really, really appreciate every time I connect to Arcturian consciousness, just because I think that the healing codes that they bring through are very based in light and frequency and sound and color hues that contain very specific information. Every collective has a different archetypal healing energy that comes through. Like the Lyran feels very much to me about, they're always talking about gaining strength and confidence. And it's very much people embodying their power. They do a lot with like clearing contracts, I've noticed. So as I've been channeling different collectives or for different people, I'm like, oh, that's interesting that the Pleiadians feel like this and they talk about this. So they all have a very different tangible essence that brings through different information, but always the same. You know what I mean? It's all this, it's all one anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this might be a good point to mention the Lyran meditation you did through light language, which accompanies this podcast. Can you say something about that offering?
Yeah. Yeah. I felt like connecting to the Lyran consciousness in that channeling, they brought through a very divine masculine type of energy, and the way that they were interpreting what was best to be delivered in that time was like a sense of safety and grounding within our physical body. I think a lot of the time star seeds like to go out and be like, I'm out of my body, woohoo. But this felt very like ground the psychic energy, ground the mental energy, and bring through. I saw the codes and I saw the color light. It was very deep blue and gold light. And as you listen to it, I don't know if you did, but I could physically feel them pulling all of my energy down and grounding it, and I felt like I was in a very warm, safe container. So if you struggle with anxiety or wanting to leave your body, which I think a lot of humans do, it's very grounding and very calming. Safety. Yeah.
Cool. Um, can we say something about, or can I ask you something about the shift going on right now? What do you
Yeah.
see happening? What do you feel what's happening? And how is light language helping with that shift? I remember I heard light language back in the late 90s and thinking, what is
Whoa,
this? You
cool.
know, this is so
Getting so
strange.
far out.
And someone said, "Do you want to learn it?" And I went, "No way! I don't want to learn it. It's not for me." And I'm still like, I have all kinds of admiration for people who do it, like yourself. But it's not my journey. But for
Yeah.
you, that is your journey. How do you see that this is shifting the collective?
I think what you said is so true. Everyone has a very different path. Some people are called to sound and just specific sound frequencies. Some people it's movement and yoga, qigong. Some people it's intense journaling. Some people it's psychotherapy. I think that if you are so attracted to um, probably feeling energetic shifts and you're sensitive to the subtle energies, I think light language is a super accelerator to break densities down in the body and to resonate to higher states of consciousness and awareness. So if the shift is you maintaining an ability to perceive and become aware of more of yourself, I think you exist at so many dimensional landscapes, and it's coming from a very interesting frequency in a higher plane. So if you are wanting to explore your galacticness, connecting to a universal framework of information and energy and sound is only going to entrain you into that in which you seek to become. So it makes sense that you would be placing yourself to listen to or become engaged with frequencies that you can fine tune yourself into. Because we're not going anywhere. We're just tuning into something, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
We ain't going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere. Um, the way I see it, I don't know how you see it, is that there's this extreme light, higher frequencies coming in, and
Mm,
there's all this density, on the earth plane, and some people really not willing to, not interested. There's a lot of people who are just not interested in
totally
shifting.
not their time. Yeah.
And so you've got these two currents flowing at the moment and buffing up against each other, and it's creating some sort of chaos and volatility. How do you see this playing out right now? This intense light and this density, old. And some people deciding, you know what, I like the density and I'm going to hold on to it. I ain't going anywhere else.
I did a session with a client. That's funny you ask. I had a session with a client maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and it was actually very emotional for me because I'd never really done psychic readings of the future. I just don't like going there for some reason because I think there's a lot of information out there. But distinctly, I remember what they, the council or whoever I was working with, um, showed me three distinct timelines, and it was very fascinating because I was very emotional as they did. And they showed me on to the left was one timeline where humanity had, an aspect of humanity had plugged in, and what they showed me, it actually was before the Apple Vision goggles were released. They showed me people being plugged into this false matrix, and as I zoomed out into space, there was an AI bot controlling everyone who had plugged into this. And I just started like crying. I was very emotional. And I was like, okay, so there's one strand of people who are literally plugging in to the point where their humanality, they forget what is real. They forget what is the real world. And I got really sad. They showed me the second one, and it felt very much like I felt like I was in China or somewhere where a lot of technology has been used, but it had crumbled. So as I walked along the earth, there was literally rubbish everywhere and nothing worked anymore. It was desolate. It was very sad. And then the third trajectory was so incredible. Um, they showed me a footage. It was almost like, I guess you would call it the veil dissolved. And I started to see thousands of ships surrounding Earth. And I got very emotional at this point. And there was a uh, gap in time where a lot of people, there was a lot of light that came to the planet, and people were being beamed up onto ship, and they were putting them in these uh, it's like they put their bodies into this like vat of liquid. I should share the recording. It's interesting. They put it into a vat of liquid and they catch humans up on the true history of humanity, and then they come back down. Some people are able to hold that much light in their body, so they don't have to be like taken anywhere. They can integrate it, and then they said within 3 or 4 generations from that time, there would not be any more pure humans left. It was the hybrid, like we became a collective one with lots of different beings and races. So that's kind of how I see the shift as of that channeled session, which I was a bit scared to share with everyone, but now I'm saying it, I'm like, it's pretty fascinating. Like, take with it what you will, obviously, in timelines or whatever, but the depth in which they made me feel of it, it felt very. And then the Apple Vision goggles came out, and I was like, oh, damn. So I do feel sad. I guess also you have to zoom out and take the larger perspective that is, this is the human experience. It's a fun ride. If you go there, you're going to the same place anyway. There's no lesser or greater. You're just choosing to have this experience now in this body. So I have to remind myself of that.
Yeah, I feel it's quite an exciting, fun time. Although not so fun and exciting things are happening on the earth, of course, and it's hard to
Yeah.
look and see people go through so much suffering. But I guess
Mm,
we've all got our soul's journey, and that journey goes on for many lifetimes. And some
totally.
of it will be, you know, the fun fair. Like my grandkids love fun fairs where they're spun around and thrown up, and they think, and I'm like, oh my God, that's the worst thing, you know. I'm sitting there with a cup
Totally.
of tea, going, you have that enjoyment. I'm not doing that. They still want to come down and go on the fun fair on the pier, and I'll take them, but I ain't going. And come on, Granddad, come on in. I'm no way.
Like,
I'm not going
no,
on that.
that's not for me. And
No.
like, I'm sure the galactic opening and literal aliens coming down is not for a lot of people. Like, I get that there's different consciousnesses that feel differently about every trajectory that could be possible. So that's totally fair.
Yeah. Now, when you were speaking about the three possible timelines, when you spoke about the third one, um, I don't know if I was vision seeing things, but on your screen, a bubbles came up and a big thumbs up came up. I
What?
mean, yeah, and I'm looking at it thinking, am I seeing? But it looked like it was really happening on the screen.
That's hilarious. I can't wait to rewatch the video.
I know.
Well, maybe spirit's just playing.
I've never seen that
It's been
before.
known to happen. I
Yeah,
think some of my guides play a lot in technology or audio recordings. You can hear things back and you're like, that's funny.
that was so weird. And I looked at it, and then I kind of forgot about it,
Confirmation.
thinking, I can't, I can't mention that. Maybe what if I'm completely balmy and that's not happening? Anyway, we'll see on the
I'm glad
recording.
that you did. Yeah. Oh,
How does it feel to go public doing light language? Because you're kind of going public now, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess starting vibrosound was very it felt like I was obviously I brought vibroacoustic therapy to Australia, so that was the last 5 years have been very challenging to bring a whole new modality to a country and teach people and people to be like, what are you doing? So I think sound was already like a alternative modality, which it isn't anymore. And I'm so grateful that I don't have to work so hard. People are coming to those experiences, show days that we hold, fully knowing about sound. As I grew vibrosound, a part of my soul felt like I was neglecting more and more of who I really am. So I think starting encoded frequencies has actually been very liberating, that I can maintain an essence of myself, because at the end of the day, I just want to be myself. I just want to be, it's nothing more freeing to just be like, oh, this is the truth. And like
Yeah,
other people resonating to that. And I remember how desperately lonely I was, not only 5, 6 years ago in my awakening. So if I can
yeah,
help someone else not feel crazy in their awakening, no skin off my back. If I'm not scared of being judged, or I'm not scared of anything like that, because I know like without a doubt, what I'm saying is true for me. So it's exciting.
yeah,
And it feels
yeah.
like, oh, this is good. I feel like God is like, go girl, like feel
Can I
good
ask
about
you
it.
about Australia? Because I've been
Yeah.
there. I mean, have been to Australia. It seems that to me that Australia is this beautiful country with this beautiful, indigenous population, but there's a certain density in Australia which is very different to Britain. And there's certain like I've got Australian friends. It's like, let's throw some more beef burgers on the barbie and have a few drinks, and let's just hey, whoa, a party.
Yeah.
Uh, how is it in Australia with the kind of spiritual awakening? What's going on there?
To be honest, Steve, I'm not a part of any type of spiritual group or collective here. I like my outside world is very, I think I put my toe in the pond of it and quickly realized that I don't like it, because there's so much weirdness. People thinking this and people thinking that. And I just felt like I don't see myself in any of this. So, to be honest, outside of the work I see with my clients internationally and making music and doing this, I really couldn't tell you, because I don't want, one, I don't like to listen to other channelings because I don't want to like blur my content. And also, doing this work all day, I just want to be a human at the end. So, I just like to hang out with my family. And so, I actually couldn't comment on it. I do know there's different pockets of people who are, I guess it's everywhere. People are at different stages of their beliefs and awakenings. But I will say that I think the part of Australia that's like, hey, let's get beers and burgers, can also be used in a very liberating way, because I feel like people are silly enough and my upbringing was relaxed enough that it fostered to me to be very grounded and chill. So I think that there's something positive to be said as well about the blaseness of it all. And it's then if you talk about the political, if you talk about anything in that realm, yes, there's a lot of density and a lot of darkness. They like the tunnels under like there's a lot of darkness here as well. So you kind of can find anything that you want to look for.
Yeah. Well, it is a beautiful country, and you have a mission there. You're bringing your light there in Australia and spreading it
Yeah.
across the world, really.
Yeah.
And
I'm psyched for that.
thanks for speaking today, Katie, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
sharing the meditation, because it was a very beautiful meditation that I listened to, the Lyran one. I do encourage people to listen to this meditation going out with this podcast. And anything else coming up for you, Katie? Anything in your work that's presenting itself?
At the moment, I'm running two trainings. So I'm taking, well, this one's actually almost full. There's one slot left. But then at the second half of the year, my multidimensional energy training, teaching people how to connect to galactic consciousness and run energy and pretty much just do what I do in sessions and upgrade your psychic senses. And then that's an 8-week course live. And then my tuning fork training. So that's a pre-record. It's basically teaching you the science of sound and how to use tuning forks to tune up your life, release density, clear the ancestral line, clear energy between you and another, just using sound as a medium, as a channel for energy. And then my cosmic library, like I was saying, I just uploaded all of my sound healing tracks into a portal where people can pick and choose as they need.
Fabulous. Well, Katie, thanks for chatting, and
Thanks for
it's
having me.
bedtime for you and
And
morning
Cyrus.
cacao for me.
Oh, yum. Well, it
Yeah.
was so nice to connect with you and anyone listening. I hope you enjoy the light language channeling.